Hello and welcome or welcome back. Today we'll be discussing the changes to the English A Paper 2 examination. This is a video that has been requested, so I am trying to fulfill that request. All right, so the exam as we know it, and in case you're watching this in the future, this video was recorded in July 2026. So the students who wrote the examination this year wrote according to this format. There were four sections. Section A involved the summary. So you would have a passage and you would have to write a summary in not more than 120 words. Section B, expository writing. That's where you would get either a report, letter, email, memo, notice, etc. Section C, short story. You would be given two options and you would pick one. And finally, you had section D, which is the argumentative essay. We are saying goodbye to this exam. So the students who are writing this exam in May, June 2027 and beyond will not be following this format. So we're saying goodbye, but not entirely. The exam is keeping certain features, so we're going to speak about them in this video. So firstly, this section is out. So you do not have this section A anymore. The exam has been divided into three modules. Module 1 is informative discourse, Module 2 literary discourse, and Module 3 persuasive discourse. So we're going to get into what that means in a while. So the first informative discourse, that is Module 1. So think about expository writing. This would have been your section B in the previous format. It has been divided into two parts. In the first part, you're getting a passage, a very short passage or paragraph in that style of writing, informative discourse, and then you have to answer two questions about it. So we're going to read the example from the sample. After you have done that, the second part is where you would have the same thing that you had in section B in the original exam, whether it is a notice, a memo, email, letter, complaint, whatever it is. So the first part, it says read the extract below carefully and answer the questions which follow. How do we drive students to cheat? So informative discourse, we're going to be informed about this. Students who cheat lack something. Usually, they lack a sense of relevance of what they are learning, or know-how, or timely feedback. Recognizing why students cheat will help teachers make decisions regarding instruction that will reduce cheating and promote real learning. Finding shortcuts is a strategy that helps people negotiate their busy lives. Children hate wasting time doing things they deem useless. When students do not see how the content they are learning is connected to their lives, cheating comes easily. When they perceive tasks as difficult, they look for shortcuts. Additionally, the lack of individual feedback on assignments combined with the feeling that one low test score or poorly done writing assignment can be damaging to their grade point average can lead students to cheat. One of the best ways to reduce cheating is to provide timely feedback for students to use. Right? So we have a simple excerpt right here. So A, the first thing we have to do is state the writer's purpose of the extract. Why did the writer write this? So you have to sit down and ask yourself this question. What am I informed about? Why are they, what is the purpose of this? So the sample response from the updated syllabus has this, and it is worth 3 marks. The writer's purpose is to identify the reasons students cheat so that teachers can use the information to tailor their instructions to promote learning and reduce cheating. So if you responded like this, you would get 3 marks. And then B, in no more than 50 words, use 3 points to summarize the writer's purpose. You must use your own words as far as possible. So you can see that section A in the first exam has been split up. So instead of writing a 120 word summary, you're writing 50 words, and you're going to see this in the other two modules in the paper. So here we have the sample response. So points for summary, any three would be acceptable, and you would get 1 mark for each one. Number one, lack of relevance of what they are learning can cause students to cheat. Two, when students see no connection of the content they learn to their lives, they cheat. Three, lack of timely feedback on assignments is another reason people cheat. Four, poor performance on examinations that may lead to a low GPA, grade point average. And a sample summary. Children cheat when they do not see the relevance of what they are learning and how it is linked to their personal lives. Untimely lack of feedback on assignments can also cause cheating. Finally, feelings that the assignment done poorly can lead to poor GPAs, can cause students to cheat. That's 49 words. So you would receive 3 marks for listing 3 points and 4 marks for summarizing the passage. And the next part of Module A, Module 1, well, study the situation presented below and then complete the task that follows. It is the same as Section B in the original paper. So this situation here, your family recently purchased a cable package from a local television company, Entertainment Plus, located at 1995 Industry Estate, Botanica. The company's advertisements claimed that for the fee of $150, customers would have access to 100 channels offering a range of popular television stations. After utilizing the package for 1 month, you realize that only 80 of the stations were available. Further, no sports channels were available. In addition, your family was billed $250 at the end of the month. Your mother has asked you to write a letter of complaint to the store manager, Julia James, on her behalf. In the letter, you should identify the problem, show how you are inconvenienced by the problem, state what you would like the store manager to do to address the issue. So this is out of 30 marks. And again, you could get any of the options you would have usually prepared for in section B here. So it could be an email, it could be a memorandum, a notice, all of the types that you would have studied in class with your teacher, hopefully. So that is module one. We have a sample response. So you have the address, the date, dear Miss James, blah, blah, blah. Yours sincerely, Juan Summers. If you want to read through it, you can just pause the video to read it. So I'm going back here again. So again, module one comprises of the passage, question A, where you state the writer's purpose, and B, where you summarize that short passage. And then the second part, you are writing either a letter, a memo, a report, etc. So now we are moving on to module two, literary discourse. At first glance, it looks quite similar. You are seeing a passage here again, and A and B, and then you see the second part here. So literary, we're thinking of stories. So the paragraph is going to be written in that genre, more descriptive or with more characterization, description of setting, use of more imagination. So let us see what we have here in this sample. So it says, read the following extract carefully and then answer the question that follows. The ash falling from the volcano had not stopped, and my island, Montserrat, is covered with it. It is August 1st, 1996. My grandmother is leaving for England, and I decide to drive north with my son Nathan to take her to the airport. The ash is everywhere and seeps through the windows. The mountain cracks, crack, crash. She mocks. Crack, crack, crash. She squalls. Crack, crash. She shrieks. Darkness envelopes us like the end of time. I reach for my son. The darkness is so intense I cannot see my son's eyes or even his teeth. I remain still and keep my eyes firmly fixed in the black space in front of me. I fear if I move the mountain will get even angrier. Soon the black clouds move on and light peeps its way into the darkness. For a second I wonder if this light will return my island to its old time. But no, the mountain pours her dark mud over us, and the darkness returns. It is the beginning of a new time, a world of endless darkness. And I would advise you to read the passage at least 3 times before attempting to answer the questions. So, A, describe the setting of the extract. So, you see, in module 1, we had to state the writer's purpose. Here, it's asking you to describe the setting. And a sample response from the syllabus. The setting is the island of Montserrat on August 1st, 1996. So here we have where, we have the time, we have the date, we have the year. It is during a volcanic eruption. The environment has turned dark due to ash falling heavily and the mountain is cracking. B, in no more than 50 words, use 3 points to summarize the experiences of the narrator in the extract. You must use your own words as far as possible. So here's the sample response from the syllabus. Here are possible points for the summary. Any three of them would give you 1 mark. 1, the narrator is driving her grandmother to the airport with her son during a volcanic eruption. 2, ash is falling constantly and gets into the car and the mountain makes a cracking sound. 3, the place goes completely dark and the narrator is terrified. 4, the darkness ends briefly but returns and the narrator is concerned about the future of the island. Sample summary. The narrator, her grandmother, and son are driving to the airport during a volcanic eruption. Ash is constantly falling and the mountain is cracking. Then there is complete darkness, terrifying the narrator. The darkness goes away briefly but returns and leaves the narrator thinking about the future of the island. So, total 10 marks for this entire section. That is including A, which is 3 marks, and B, 7 marks. Then we move on to the second part of module 2. This is where you would have to write a short story. So, it is similar to section C in the previous exam. So you can have either a picture that you have to write your story based on or a sentence. So the instructions, the suggested length for either question 4 or 5 is approximately 400 to 450 words. So you have this picture here. It's out of 30 marks. In the previous exam, the short story was worth 25 marks. So this is a change here. And 5, write a story based on the sentence below. As I rose to address the audience, I glimpsed Sam and Patricia at the back of the room whispering. So you would pick one and write your story. Then we move on to module 3, the final module, persuasive discourse. So again, you see the format, it looks very similar. You have a paragraph or a short passage, and you have 2 questions based on it, and then you have the section where you must do some writing. And again, the paragraph should be in the genre of the module, so that is persuasive discourse. So it says, read the extract below and then answer the questions that follow. Digital books and resources are associated less with less learning and more problems than print resources. A study done on tablet versus book reading found that people read 20 to 30% slower on tablets, retain 20% less information, and understand 10% less of what they read compared to people who read the same information in print. Additionally, staring too long at a screen has been shown to cause numerous health problems, including blurred vision, dizziness, dry eyes, headaches, and eye strain, at much higher instances than reading print does. People who use tablets and mobile devices excessively also have higher incidence of more serious health issues such as fibromyalgia, shoulder and back pain, carpal tunnel syndrome, and muscle strain. I know that whenever I read from my e-reader for too long, my eyes begin to feel tired and my neck hurts. We should not add to these problems by giving people, especially young people, more reasons to look at screens. So this person is trying to persuade us that screens may not be, the best. Again, persuasive discourse. So we have two questions to answer. A, state the writer's purpose of this extract. Why did he or she write this? What are they trying to do? So the sample response from the syllabus. The writer's purpose is to convince the audience that digital books and resources are less effective in learning and causes health problems. People, especially children, should have less screen time. The writer provides evidence by comparing understanding in print and digital books, providing examples of health issues that occur with prolonged screen time and personal experiences. Then we move on to B. Section B. In no more than 50 words, use 3 points to summarize the purpose of the extract. You must use your own words as far as possible. So any of these 4 points would be accepted. One, digital books and resources are less effective in learning and causes health issues compared to print ones. Two, people who use devices are slower at reading and retain and understand less. Three, prolonged screen time results in many health issues that even the writer has experienced. Four, there should be reduced opportunities to interact with screens, especially for children. And here is a sample summary. Reading digital books and material contributes to reduced learning when compared to reading traditional books. Also, focusing on screens for too long results in some health challenges. Moreover, major health problems also result from using some mobile devices. Therefore, to reduce health problems, opportunities to look at screens should be reduced. And once we are done with this section, we move on to our writing. So here you have to write a persuasive essay just like you had to do in section D of the previous paper. So it says the suggested length for question 7 is approximately 250 to 300 words. The 5-paragraph essay format is the minimum requirement for this module. And here's the topic here. So security cameras should be installed on all school premises. Write an essay giving your views on this statement. So you can see that the summary, instead of being completely omitted, I'm going back to the first slide here. Instead of being omitted, this one, section A, it has been in a way split up among the other 3 sections. So instead of having section A as the summary, you have module 1, which is like B, module 2, which is like C, and module 3, which is like D. So this is why I said we are not saying goodbye to this paper entirely. It's simply that the summary section has been split up into the 3 different modules. So you write a short summary on informative discourse. You have a short one in literary discourse and in persuasive discourse. In my opinion, this actually makes the exam a whole lot easier because these paragraphs they appear to be simpler than the other passages that were given for summaries. So this is all. We have reached the end. If you have any questions, feel free to type them in the comment section and I will do my best to answer you. Take care and eat your vegetables.